Hey there everybody, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Puborama, and in today's video, I'll be talking about the top 5 biggest money wasters in Grand Theft Auto Online. It doesn't matter how much money you're earning. You could be a gazillionaire, you still could be wasting money on items you don't need. And that's what today's video is going to help you out with. If we make our way over to Dynasty 8, we're going to break into the first in the listing, which is properties. You'll notice when you load up Dynasty 8, Rockstar shoves the most expensive properties right in your face. This custom apartment for $1.1 million. It gives you a 10-car garage. A pretty lame interior, I'm going to be honest, that you can choose from. When the apartments first came into the game, I was like, wow, I'm going to buy one. And then I realized I wasted $1.1 million on an apartment. First of all, I'm never going to go into. And second of all I'm really using is for the garage space. This apartment here has the exact same utility as this apartment here, the Del Perro Heights, which has 10-car garage, can start heists, and is 1/5 of the price, almost 1/6. Why would you ever buy a $1.1 million apartment when I can buy this one for $200,000 and then this one for $205,000 and have 20 cars stored and still spend a fraction of the price you would for a single 10-car garage? When you buy apartments, especially as a player like me who wants to have garage space, you're not buying the apartment because it's an expensive apartment. You're buying the apartment because you want garage space. So what you should do is go to high end and go from price low to high, and then you should just be looking at the cheapest apartments possible. So you got Del Perro Heights, then you got another Del Perro, then 3 Alta Street, then another Alta Street, then Integrity Way, which I already own, then Richards Majestic. And by the way, some of these locations are actually pretty dang good. Like you can see here that Integrity Way is directly in the middle of the city. So for example, if you own the expensive office building, then you can buy 2 properties right there with 20-car garage. But if you're like me and you buy the Del Perro, then you can buy 3 apartments right next to your Maze Bank West building, and then you can also go down to Richards Majestic, buy another 3 right here, which are also directly next to your apartment building. And again, they're quite cheap. The most expensive goes up to $480,000. Right there, that is 6 apartments and 60 cars that you can store without buying a single $1 million apartment building. Really, spending money on expensive apartments is a bad financial decision, because if you're buying it for the clout, nobody's going to care. It's an apartment building in a game about cars, not property. Let's say you've made a lot of money. You've got, I don't know, $90 million sitting in your account. That's a lot of money. And you're like, you know what? I want to waste some of this money. So you go over to Travel and Transport, go over to Galaxy Super Yacht, and you want to purchase yourself a super yacht. You know, you go to the most expensive one, and then you fully deck it out. You put on gold fittings, and then you put on, I don't know, this stuff. Yeah, $600,000. And then you go to the most expensive color scheme, and there you go. This yacht is $10 million. $10 million right there. You are going to spend over 10% of the money you have earned on a single useless item. The super yacht, yes, it looks really cool. And again, just like the properties we talked about previously, it's something that people like to show off. But seriously, how many times have you showed off your super yacht to a friend of yours? Because usually what I've noticed is that everybody already owns a super yacht. Every time you go into a GTA public session, literally Vespucci Beach is littered with yachts across yachts. Sometimes they'll stretch all the way down to Polito. There are so many people that own yachts. The problem is, in a game like GTA, everybody is trying to flaunt their success. So if everybody's trying to flaunt their success, then what's the point of flaunting it if everybody owns a super yacht? In my opinion, save the $10 million, buy a bunch of supercars, heck, buy a Luxor Deluxe, because at least with the Luxor Deluxe, you can fly from point A to point B. You're really not going to do anything with the yacht. Maybe you'll do the yacht takeover mission, which is decent for making money, but there's no way in hell you're going to make $10 million back from it. So yeah, the super yacht is one of the biggest wastes of money in the game, because it's just a property that you have sitting there that you're never going to use. And if you set it as your spawn location, why? I mean, you've literally got to teleport into the yacht and then, you know, take your helicopter off, I guess, when you could just, you know, spawn into your Kosatka and do the same thing. And by the way, fast travel cheaper in your Kosatka. So, Yeah, waste of money again. While I do think this super yacht is a waste of money, I think an even bigger waste of money is vehicles you're never going to use. For example, the majority of elitist travel or dock and tease. The latest helicopter released into the game is the Canada. It's $1.8 million with the trade price. You're never going to use it. You'll maybe fly it once after you purchased it, and then you're like, wow, this is a really boring helicopter with no weapons or anything. Gee, guess I'll stick to my Sparrow. $1.8 million down the drain. And then you're like, wow, the blimp was released. Let me buy that for $1 million. Oh wait, it's useless. Gee, guess I'll never use that again. Oh look, an ultralight, a super cool vehicle, except it flies really slow and I'm never going to use it again. Guess I'll throw that money into the trash. That's really how I think of a lot of vehicles in this game, is like they're impulse purchases. They come out, you're like, wow, that's a really cool vehicle. You buy it and then you realize just how much of a waste it is. You make your way over the dock and tease. The Longfin's $1.6 million. The Tug is 1.2. Is there ever a time in GTA you were like, man, I really wish I was driving a boat? Because I don't think I've ever thought that once. At least vehicles like the Kraken are free if you're a returning player, but yeah, please don't waste your money on these vehicles. Again, you can also just spawn in a dinghy if you own your Kosatka next to you. So purchasing boats is just a useless endeavor because you have to call them in through Pegasus, then go over to the dock. Yeah, that's why they're actually in the number 3 slot. I think at least the super yacht has some incentive because at least you're going to try and show it off and it's a property that you can stay in. Buying a boat or a helicopter that you're literally going to forget about and never use is a whole nother story of completely pointless. In the number 2 slot, we have one that is definitely overlooked, and that is trade prices. In front of us, you can see some vehicles like the Laser are just a flat price of $6.5 million. But there's also vehicles like the Bombushka, which is $4.4 million with a trade price, and then $5.9 million without the trade price. That is an extra $1.5 million to buy the Bombushka without the trade price. That's a stupid amount of money extra. Why would you buy that when you could just do 24 gun running missions? It might take you a week, but you could just do 1 or 2 a day and then get the Bombushka on sale. It's not like getting this vehicle now is going to save you anything. The Ruiner 2000 is another $1.4 million extra with the trade price. And then as well, the Tula is like 1.3. I mean, there's just so many vehicles in the game that you're going to be wasting millions on extra if you don't get the trade price. For example, the Oppressor Mark II. This is a vehicle that literally everybody buys. And the buy it now is $3.89 million, and the trade price is $2.9. You're literally spending $1 million extra when all you need to do is complete 5 client jobs, as it says in the top of my screen, to get this vehicle unlocked. Those 5 client jobs are literally the easiest things in the planet. You just spawn in your terabyte, you do 5 jobs on the terabyte board, you don't even need to purchase anything with the terabyte, and boom, you saved $1 million. And you even make a little bit of money while doing the client jobs. Trade prices are something everybody should take advantage of. I mean, even myself, I have found to be very lazy. If you ever watch me like on my spending $100 million live stream, I probably lost at least $15 million when it comes to trade prices just on that stream alone because I didn't care about the money. But it's $15 million that I don't have now for my Broke to Billions account, which kind of sucks, right? So yeah, be very careful when it comes to trade prices. Make sure you're paying attention to the money you're wasting. Finally, we arrive at the biggest way to waste money in GTA, and that is useless cosmetic upgrades in the game. For example, if we head onto my phone and we go to Maze Bank Foreclosure, let's say we plop over to my facility that I own. Okay, you notice that I have no orbital cannon, no security room, no privacy glass, no sleeping quarters. Let's see how much money it would cost for me to put on, I don't know, this thing looks cool. Let's go to the orbital cannon, check that on, check on the security room. Let's do a premier lounge, and then add on the sleeping quarters as well. Oh, yeah, that's right, $2.2 million that I would throw right down the drain just because, oh yeah, and let me add a color as well. There you go, an extra $300,000, holy crap. So, yeah, $2.5 million to make my facility look nicer. I get no benefit for purchasing this. Like, the security room, you get like maybe $1,000 worth of free ammo. And your orbital cannon, I mean, that's just a money sink right there that you're wasting for literally no purpose. So, yeah, I mean, that's $2.5 million you'd waste right there for literally no reason. And that's just one property. If I make my way to Dynasty 8 Executive and I head over to my office building, if I want to renovate it, let's say I put on, the broker polish, and I go to, I don't know, gun locker, check that on, $500,000, put on a safe. I don't even know what the safe does. There you go. That's an extra $1.7 million to renovate my my building there. Let's say I go to my agency and I want to renovate that. Okay, so let's go to art and, you know, put on the expensive one, which I don't even know what it really does. Then we go to wallpapers. Palm trees are cool. There you go, $400,000. How about a highlight? Let's do this really ugly moss color. Armory. I mean, the armory's actually not bad, so I'm actually not going to count that. But still, that's $840,000 down the drain. There are so many ways to waste money in GTA, and the biggest by far are just useless upgrades to your office buildings you simply do not need, or not even your office buildings, but like your nightclub. My nightclub, I have no upgrades on. Look, I mean, this is $300,000 there. Just to put on some stuff, and lighting rigs is $80,000. Really, all you need is storage. Dancers, $200,000. Like, who cares about this stuff? You're never gonna actually look at your nightclub and be like, wow, I'm so glad I spent money on dry ice. I'm so happy I wasted an extra $900,000 renovating my nightclub. That is just some of the buildings in the game. My arena, for example, has no upgrades, and because of that, it only cost me like $500,000 to purchase the arena. It was super duper cheap. I mean, just to show how much money you waste on the arena with the upgrades, if we go to Arena War and we go to Renovate Workshop, let's say you put on the Urban, and then you go to Workshop Graphics and you put on, I don't know, that thingy, and then Workshop Color, and you do this one, and then you go to Garage Floor, and then you renovate the color on that one, and then you do this one, and then you also add on the mechanics, because why not, and then you also add on the personal quarters. That's $1.4 million, and by the way, it's normally 2.6. It's half off right now. That's ridiculous. That's such a waste of money for something you don't need, where my whole Arena War, because I don't need any of those things, only cost me like $500,000. So, yeah. There is no point to buy cosmetic upgrades in a building, because all it is cosmetics, and it's only something you're going to see. Nobody's ever going to follow you inside your nightclub and be like, wow, your nightclub stinks, even though you're making 250 grand every couple hours with your nightclub. So that is the biggest waste of money. It's just by far a waste of money. My facility is the ugliest building ever. It's a concrete, stale building. But you know what? I've completed all my heists with it. I've done my job, and I've made my money. And now I've never walked into my facility once again, because it's an arbitrary property that you don't need. So hopefully you enjoyed today's video. This is probably a bit harsh on that last one there, but seriously, wasting money on cosmetics is a stupid way to spend money. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video, and if you'd like to see more like it, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below. Bye-bye!